Hey guys, this is Brandon Smitley, and I decided that I was going to make a video about some things that you can use to better yourself as a strength athlete, whether it be powerlifting, strongman, Olympic lifting, or just a regular gym goer. I've been lifting in a college since I was 18. I'm 25, so it's over 7 years, and I don't have teammates and great pieces of equipment and things like that, but yet I've still been able to see good results since I started training in college all the way up until now when I'm 25. And so I wanted to present to you 11 items that I use personally from Elite FTS, and I highly suggest all their products. They all last long. Everything I haven't had to buy more than once. So what I have is when I bought it, I still got it and I'm still using it. And these are 11 items that I have, and they apply more towards a raw lifter, but a geared lifter can get a lot of benefits out of some of the same stuff. But these are, me being a raw lifter, definitely things you can get. So for your college age kids, you want to spend some of your hard-earned money that you got from your minimum wage job on campus, this is some really good stuff that you can be using. The first thing I got is bands. And it's kind of 1A and 1B. A is going to be the mini bands, and B is going to be the long bands. So, for example, I got all my bands here from Elite FTS. I've got the minis, I've got the monster minis, and I've got the lights, short lights. So I've got 2 of each. And you'll notice that on my bands, the way that I carry on my bag is I go to a Home Depot store or whatever and buy a carabiner, and then I take the bands and I run them through the carabiner, and that way I always have the certain size bands together, so they're not just wadded up into your gym bag, and you have them organized at all the time. So whenever you just need one, you can unpop it, and you've got your band ready to go. Simple as that. So it's really quick and efficient, especially if you're cramped on time. So those are the short bands. These are really good for deadlifts. You can do external shoulder rotations. You can do, hip external rotations, band walks, things of that nature. But I definitely use them on speed deadlifts more than anything, because you're not going to have anything to tie the bands down to, so you got to shove your feet through the bands and then around the barbell. So they work really well. And then the 1B is the long bands. So again, I've got the exact same setup, big carabiner, but as you're going to see, a lot more bands. And here I've got the micro minis, I got the minis, I got the monster minis, and I've got the lights, and I also have a pair of the averages, but I don't usually carry those in my gym bag because I don't need them typically that often. So when I do know I need them, I just toss them in. But these are the ones that I use on a consistent basis for myself. Not to mention, if I want to get the tension of the average band, I can take a light and a mini, or a light and a monster mini, and get about the same amount of band tension. Especially if you use the charts that come with these. So mine's jammed in my bag somewhere. But these are basically an endless tool that you can use in the gym, and you can get a pack of them on Elite FTS. I think it was the Mountain Dog pack, where you get like 2 of almost everything, and it saves you a ton of money. I know that's what I did. And so you use it for band pull parts, face pulls, press downs, curls, all your speed work on squats and bench, and good mornings, pull throughs, you name it, you can use these for something in your program, I guarantee it. But the thing that I recommend, if you're like in a college gym and you're doing speed work, not all gyms are going to have racks that have band pegs to where you can tie up your bands. So what I do is I take usually a pair of 100s and a pair of 95s, and put the 100s far and the 95s kind of closer, and then so they're touching together, and then wrap around. The thing you don't want to do is take like 200s and 295s, or 200s and 290s, because they're probably going to be different diameters, so they're going to be different lengths apart, and then you come into an issue of one band's pulling on you farther than the other. So just a thought on that. But these are the Elite FTS long bands. As you see, I got a ton of bands, but these are definitely something that I use every single training session, whether it be warm-up or actual speed work or accessory work themselves. The other thing I got is the Elite FTS grenade. I can't think of what size it is here. I got It looks like a Christmas ornament, but this is tremendous for having your own attachment. So you can get grip work, and at the same time you can throw it on bands or any kind of cable attachment, and you can get a ton of extra work in with different flies and whatnot. Definitely a good bodybuilding tool. Definitely changes up your stimulus, and you can also make it easier on yourself and on your elbows. So definitely check out the LFTS grenade. I believe this is a smaller one. I can't remember, 2-inch size or something like that. But definitely a tool that I use every now and then. You can see it's pretty beat up. The next thing I got is the Elite FTS Catapult. So I'll take it out here and show you. I don't use this a ton right now because Brian Carroll's doing my programming, and I don't even know if he knows I have it, but Brian, I have a Catapult, so if my bench work, if you'll throw that in, go for it. But what it's basically where you throw your hands in. I'm not going to put it all the way because it's a pain to put on, but throw your arms in, and then after you have it on, it's basically like having a mini shirt on when you bench. So as you come down, you know, you get assistance, and I mean, you get a ton of assistance in this thing. So don't like think that it's not going to do much for you, because this thing will let you put a ton more weight in your hands. So in a college gym setting, this comes in handy in that if you can't set up a reverse band setup, especially on bench, then this is a good way to get a similar reverse band stimulus with a relatively cheap product. So it's going to let you handle more weight at the top. It's going to make your triceps a ton stronger. It's going to build a ton of confidence in your bench press, and at the same time, it's also going to save your shoulders. So it can let you train heavier more consistently and still reap the benefits of training heavy, but not beating your body up. And then another thing that's good for it are high rep, super high rep push-ups. I mean, if I try to do push-ups with this, I could probably get a couple hundred in without having to stop, because it gives me that much assistance that I'm only a little powerlifter. But this is definitely an invaluable tool that I've used multiple times, and I actually really like it for floor press because it gives you a tad of bounce out of the hole, but as soon as you break the hole, it's like you're getting hit with a ton of bricks. So check out the Metal Catapult. Definitely a cool thing. I was really skeptical on when I was going to buy this, but after I bought it, I'm glad I did. I went through like a 3-week phase where I just like abused this thing, but definitely a good product. Another one I got is the Rumble Roller from Elite FTS. This is the small one. It's like a foot, I think. And sorry about the stream. And so, I mean, I like to have a foam roller with me at all times, and not all college gyms have foam rollers. I mean, I know when I went to Purdue, they did have some foam rollers, but they were so beat up, they didn't really do anything for me. So I got a Rumble Roller, one of the best investments I've probably ever bought. I use it before I lift and after I lift, at home, downtime at work. I mean, this thing comes in handy, and it's going to help you find a ton of spots that you didn't even know where you had poor tissue quality. So look into one of these, especially as a college-aged student, that this is something that you can throw in your gym bag, because I mean, it's not that big, but it's something you can always have on you. And I really like it, and it's definitely paid its dividends in keeping me healthy, because I've had no injuries so far. Another thing I got are my Elite FTS heavy knee sleeves. So I'll take one. I usually leave them inside out, but built like this. The heavy knee sleeves, they're black. Make sure you do the measuring on these before you get them really well, because mine are, you can see how mine are like rolling over on the top for my quads, and they're rolling under on the bottom for my calves. But these are really solid knee sleeves. I mean, they give you tons of warmth. They're not restrictive. They can be a little tight from the very first day you get them, so you may want to, this is a geared trick, take something to stick in the middle of them and to help spread them out like that, and then just leave it in there overnight and put a little bit of water on it, and it'll kind of stretch these ends out, but you'll still keep all the tightness in the actual knee aspect. of it, so when you put it on, you can actually get your leg in the damn thing. But this is an awesome knee sleeve. I mean, you can tell I've had this for a long time, and it's still holding up. It's still got a little bit of material coming off, but I mean, it's still there as a solid knee sleeve. And I mean, I wear these every time I squat and deadlift. I prefer to train in these, especially considering I don't have anyone to actually legitimately wrap my knees, which I'll get to in a minute. So this actually lets me get a tad bit of more knee stability, especially on my heavier sets when I don't have anyone to wrap my knees and I don't feel like wrapping on myself. So definitely check out the heavy knee sleeves from Elite FTS. Those are pretty cool. I also got a pair of fat grips. You can get these at Elite as well. It's very rare to find a fat bar in the gym, especially if you're more of a strongman competitor. So this is probably the best thing you can buy if you're a strongman competitor and you're wanting to get the axle effect, but there's no axle. So grab some fat grips, like 40 bucks, something like that, pretty cheap. Throw them on everything. I know whenever I got them, I went through like a 4-week phase of where I threw these on everything, from rows to curls to presses to deadlifts probably. I mean, I probably did a lot of stupid stuff with it, but I use them usually around once a week, and I throw them on like if I have a set of rows, I'll do my set of rows, and immediately as I'm done, I'll strip their weight and basically do a drop set, throw these on there, and then tax my grip at all my pulling exercises. So I still get the fat grip work, but that not as much volume. But check these out. These are really great. They've been around for a while now, so they're not really rare. You'll probably see people with them occasionally from time to time. I think a lot of people think they just have them because they want to be cool, but they actually do make your grip stronger. So fat grips is another thing you need to have if you're a college age kid in a rec gym. I also got the normal knee sleeves from Elite FTS covered in chalk, but these are the first pair of knee wraps that I ever bought, and I like them a lot. I mean, they've got a good amount of give to them, but they still provide a good amount of support, so you can wrap your knees up really well by yourself, but still be able to stand up and walk and kind of function a little bit. As if with the heavy wraps, you're not going to be able to feel anything in your legs. So these are definitely a good training tool, and they're definitely also good for if you ever need to wrap something like, I know Dave wraps his hip up with knee sleeves. You see it all the time. Again, hopefully you're not that beat up at a college gym, but you can definitely benefit from using knee wraps on your squats. And those are the normal ones. You can get the heavy ones as well, but I got the normal ones. I also got my, in general, I'm just going to say a belt, but I think a lever belt is, for a raw lifter, a lever belt is a better option, because your weight shouldn't be fluctuating too much. So you should be able to stick around the same circumference. So I've got a red one from Elite FTS, red lever belt. I'm not sure they even have this red anymore, like in this style. I think they have this one that says stronger on it, which is actually cooler. But at the time, this was the only one they had. So pretty simple. You put the belt on, slap in the lever, pull it, tightens it down, you're good to go. I've only had to adjust this once, and I've actually gotten it smaller. So my weight has actually dropped since I finished undergraduate, but I've actually gotten stronger. So my belt therefore has gotten one notch smaller. Just make sure that you keep a screwdriver in your bag, or at least some kind of junky one. It doesn't have to be a good one, so you can unscrew these pieces in here if you have to make an adjustment on your belt on the fly. So I've been there before where I had my belt on and one day it just didn't feel right, and I think it's when my weight was starting to drop, and I basically had a loose belt and I didn't have it tight, and the next time I came in with it tighter and I lifted tremendously better. So just keep that in mind when you get the lever belt. Otherwise you can just get the standard P2 belt That's another fantastic belt. I've used that at the compound at one of my past learn to train seminars I went to, and I really liked it. So there's that. I also got the Elite FDS wrist wraps. These are really nice as well. I've used the heavy wraps. I like the heavy wraps a lot. I need to get some. But the normal wraps do provide a lot of support, and again, like the normal wrist wraps, or normal knee wraps, I'm sorry, they're still pretty flexible. So you can get a lot of good pull into your wrist when you're loading up on bench. 60 centimeters, so that they meet, I think, all raw feds. Again, something really, I mean, it's stupid small, so it's stupid if it's not in your gym bag and something you don't have. I think they're like 20 bucks, maybe 25, something like that. But I use them on all my heavy sets of bench, and I sometimes wonder what I ever did without them. And this is the same pair that I've had from Elite FDS for, man, at least a year and a half maybe, and you'll see they're still holding up pretty well. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them at all. So, and they get used, you know, once, twice a week. So that's the wrist wraps. Other thing I got is chalk. So the other thing I got is chalk. I'm just going to show you my container because I'm actually like basically out of chalk at the moment. But yeah, so when you go onto the site, make sure you get a the biggest thing of chalk they offer. I don't know, I can't remember, like a pound or 2 pounds, but it's a ton of blocks of chalk. I've got the same one that I ever ordered. I think I'm on like my 3rd block, 4th block, something like that. And I know some gyms don't allow you to take chalk. Well, if you're wanting to get strong, you're going to take chalk anyways. So I put mine in a Greek yogurt container. Really simple, easy thing to hide it in, and most people don't think of much when they just see a yogurt container. But if you can, talk to whoever the people that are in charge of the recreation department and see if there's anything you can do about getting the chalk allowed. That's something that I did at undergrad. Was as a lifter, I felt that chalk was something that I used for part of my performance, and not allowing me to use something that would increase my performance was discriminating against my athletic abilities. So considering I worked at the rec as well, I talked to some people, and you know, we got things to basically put to a trial period of seeing how dirty things would get. That's the first thing that we're going to run equipment, and people are going to put it on, you know, things they're not supposed to, like chest press machines and things of that nature, which people are idiots. But it went to the trial period and it passed, so we were allowed chalk. So try to get chalk if you can't, and try to get it approved and show that it can be used in a sensible fashion, as long as the person supplies their own chalk. Because if you bring your own chalk, you're going to clean up after yourself 99% of the times. You might leave a little bit on the bar, but you're not going to, you know, do a LeBron James and chalk all over the place. So again, that's some chalk, super cheap, by the way, like 15 bucks for a pound. That'll last you forever because you don't own your own facility. So and the last thing that I wanted to talk about are the Addy Power Olympic lifting shoes. I did an internship over the summer with Will Fleming, and he's a huge Olympic lifter, and he got me very, very proficient at the Olympic lifts and got me into some Olympic shoes, and I tried the Addy Powers, and they're phenomenal. These are, in my opinion, the best Olympic lifting shoes that are out there at the moment. Whether I'm right, that's probably not the case, but they've got a good heel raise. They're a really solid shoe. I mean, they're incredibly comfortable. I actually enjoy wearing these, other than the fact that I feel like I'm wearing a high heel. But these are, out of everything I have shown you, these are by far the most expensive. They're like $200 a pair or something like that. but I'll tell you right now, they're worth every penny. I squat in them and I bench in them, and some people think it's weird that I bench in them, but I've competed in federations that want you to have a flat foot when you compete, and giving you that heel lift gives your ankle that much more mobility, and therefore can help your leg drive. And to me, any wasted pound on the platform is a wasted pound, and if I can get that pound on the bar, I'm going to try to get that pound on the bar. So I've been using these and I like them a lot. And then in squatting, I've only applied them in squatting in the past few months, but I actually do like them. I look more natural squatting on them. But don't use these as an excuse to have shitty ankle mobility. Keep your ankle mobility where it's at, or even improve it, and this will do that much more for you. But it's not an excuse to get shitty on your ankle mobility because you've got a heel lift and a shoe that substitutes that for you. So that's all the items I got for you. You can use to help improve yourself, become a better lifter at the collegiate level for a fairly low expensive item prices. So without huge crazy equipment, you can get things that you can always have with you that are portable and you can take to any gym, and that are instantly going to make you a better lifter no matter what your strength sport is. Make sure you check out my blog at brandsmithley.com, and then also make sure you check out my sponsors, NutriBio.com and BrianGCarroll.com, and make sure you check out all this equipment on EliteFTest.com.